So guys, welcome back. I'm Lex and today we are talking about crypto, everyone's favorite topic. What the hell happened? Everyone was expecting $100,000 Bitcoin. Instead, what we're getting is $19,000 Bitcoin. Instead of a paradigm shift in all-time highs and an extended cycle, we are hitting new lows. So today what I'm going to do is just give you my view of the market, the data that I'm looking at, and why I think now could be the opportunity of a lifetime to actually buy some cryptocurrency if you have been looking into doing that. Because of course the best time to buy is when prices are cheap, but very few people actually do. Let's get into it. What are we looking at? Well, first of all, we're going to look at the crypto fear and greed index, which is going to show us a few interesting things, and I have it open right here. Well, we have been in extreme fear for a long time. If we scroll down here, we can see that basically since April, we have been trending down when it comes to the fear and greed index, and we just recently hit extreme lows of 6 and 9 on the index. Now, my strategy has been to basically buy crypto whenever the index has been below 15, which usually ends up being a very good buying opportunity. Unfortunately, right now, market conditions are so bad that the index has been below those numbers for quite some time, ever since basically the end of May. The whole June, especially if we come back to this month's reading, we have been below 15 for basically the whole month. I have been buying a bit of crypto, but unfortunately I do not have as much spare cash as I used to, so I'm not buying as much as I would like. However, I am still dollar cost averaging in today's prices. As I said, below 15, usually a very good time to buy, and below 10 is an extremely good time to buy, because when we go back historically, we can see, well, in November we were in extreme greed, like hitting 80, 84. Basically that was around the time of the all-time highs. Same in September. That was the double peak of the market, and yeah, ever since then, just going down. So last month, a really good time to buy. I hope some of you have been capitalizing on that opportunity. I know that it's difficult to actually do that because, well, everywhere you're reading headlines about how crypto is basically dead. Another interesting metric that will show us that the markets have been, let's say, hitting all-time lows instead of all-time highs is the RSI, which is what we call a relative strength index. That measures basically how much the market has been overbought or oversold. And right now the index measures 27, which is deep into oversold territory. Anything below 30 is oversold, and anything above 70 is overbought. And this index is especially accurate whenever you've been trending sideways, which is what we've been doing, well, recently. Nevertheless, these levels that we are seeing right now have not happened since the market bottom of 2018, when that was the last crypto bear market, the last crypto winter. We have not seen levels that are this low since then. So this is yet another indicator that is telling us now, historically looking, is probably a very good time to buy. If you have the money, that is, and if you're not absolutely shitting yourself because everything is going to absolute garbage. So yes, let's take a look at the market itself. From the all-time high down to the levels that we are today is, I believe, about 70%. So this is the all-time high. Down to where we are now is about 70%. Yes. So we are down 70%. A lot of people are begging for opportunities like that, and now that we have them, they're not actually taking advantage of that. Our bottom here so far has been about $17,600. From that bottom, currently we sit, I believe, about, 21% above the bottom. So if you manage to actually time that bottom, which is unlikely, you are already 21% up. Is that bottom going to hold? Well, we don't know. Only time will tell. But the bad news about that particular bottom is that Bitcoin, like I said, did something it has never done before, like it likes to do, and that is Bitcoin basically tumbled beneath the previous cycle's all-time high. Now, that has not happened before. In all the history of Bitcoin, it has not ended up below the previous market's all-time high. And guess what? It did that now. Not a very good picture to be looking at. That's not really what we want to see, but there you have it. Bitcoin does Bitcoin things. Always the unexpected, always a surprise. Instead of, like I said, reaching the all-time highs, which we all expected, $100,000, we are basically breaking records, but on the negative side. Good fun, isn't it? Anyway, this, like I said, there are many factors why this happened. The main ones being Terra Luna going down, inflation fears, recession fears. Of course, the crisis right now with Celsius and 3 Arrow Capital. Unfortunately, I have a decent amount of money in Celsius, which hopefully I will be able to recover, but I might as well have to write that amount off. But anyway, we'll talk about Celsius in a separate video. Nevertheless, let's look at some more headlines. So crypto had its worst winter in a while. As we can see here, let me go back to the chart. These are weekly candles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then there's one barely positive. 10, 11 weekly candles down pretty much consecutively is one of the worst bearish periods in the crypto market's history. When you buy the dip and it just keeps on dipping, right? That's kind of the situation we've all felt like. Yeah, you're not alone in this. We're all kind of, waiting for the bleeding to stop. And a lot of places are saying that it might not. Let's look at some of the data about the crypto winter. Coinbase laid off 18% of its full-time employees. So they're laying off more than 1,000 employees. And that's just, let's say, the tip of the iceberg when it comes to layoffs and basically shrinking of the whole industry. Again, breaking below $20,000, really not a good thing. Long term, it might turn out to be a good thing because then we've basically managed to get the weak hands out of the market. And it means that, people who have strong commitment to holding are the only ones left. And now we can come back to rebuilding strength in the market. But even the cryptocurrency whales are down big. MicroStrategy is down almost $1 billion. And this is, this is a tweet from June 13th. So now today is June 21st. They are probably down even more. Nevertheless, El Salvador is down 44%. They purchased a lot of Bitcoin, as you know. MicroStrategy is down 17%. I believe now they're down more than 20. Tesla is down more than 20. And this is Block. I don't know who Block is, but he's down 8%. So you can see that the huge Bitcoin whales, which have been massive proponents of the cryptocurrency, are seeing pain as well, especially Michael Saylor with his massive 4 billion cost basis Bitcoin holdings. He has an average price of $30,000. Big pain for everyone in the markets, even the ones who are really committed. Of course, the people who have used leverage are the ones that suffered the most. So that's why I always advocate staying away from leverage unless you really know what you're doing. And even in that case, people still lose. as is the case with Celsius. Now, the whole Celsius situation has been a huge risk for the whole market, mainly because, well, Celsius is one of the biggest crypto lenders out there. So they used to hold 151,000 Bitcoin. We don't know if that's still there or it's not, but they're one of the biggest players in the market, and they have, well, it's been rumored that they had liquidation issues because of their loans, and they're getting basically margin called. So this means that if they do get really margin called, that they will spur a massive sell-off, because they will start to get rid of their positions in order to cover their loans. Now, it is possible that some of the reasons why we've been down so badly is exactly that margin call of several large players in the market, including Celsius. And not only that, but what's been going on with Celsius is a huge regulatory risk for the whole market, because if the platform actually goes down, that would mean that, well, let's say regulators would be even more scrutinizing when it comes to actually making legislation for the cryptocurrency space. And that is definitely not a good thing, because it will mean that regulation, which should come anyway, it's not a bad thing in itself, but if it gets really tight, really scrutinizing, really difficult to work with, really demanding, then it could really limit the growth and the development of the cryptocurrency space. So we do want regulation, but we don't want it to be too bad, because regulation, of course, gives us some safety, it gives us some room to operate, it gives large players, let's say, comfort in operating in the cryptocurrency space. So that way we will attract even more institutional investors in whales, which of course is good for the growth of the market. But nevertheless, if it's too tight, if it's too difficult, it will slow everything down. So here's hoping, for my sake as well, and for the sake of the long-term prosperity of the markets, that Celsius manages to pull out of this, because otherwise it could be spelling very, very bad news for the whole market. And yeah, that's kind of it, really. This is just bad news after bad news after bad news. We got Celsius, we got breaking down beneath the all-time high previously. All the whales, MicroStrategy, Tesla, etc., they're all down. Basically, this is crypto winter in its finest. So yeah, what are you to do then to just dollar cost average? I mean, if you are a long-term believer in the space, if you believe in the technology, if you believe in the usefulness of the blockchain that you're investing in, then this should not be deterring you, because, well, markets do as they please, and that does not always reflect the fundamental value of the asset itself or the project itself. Because let's face it, many projects like Cardano, for instance, which I am invested in as well, have been doing a lot of development, have been growing a lot, have been adding upgrades, have been improving the product, improving the project massively during this time. However, the price has been doing nothing but go down, 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 down. And that is not dependent on the Cardano team. That is only dependent on market conditions. That is only dependent on what the Fed has been doing, what interest rates have been doing, what recession fears have been doing. So you can see how, essentially, just like in the stock market, fundamental value and market value can be extremely disconnected, not only to the positive side where everything is extremely inflated, but also to the negative side where people are extremely pessimistic about the long-term outlook of the underlying asset. Of course, that means that you will be buying a good asset at a discount if you have the actual balls to do it, because, well, we all know buying in these periods is very difficult, because it just feels wrong. It feels like you're throwing cash in a burning fire pit. Everything is going down, everything is burning, everything is crashing, and you're just throwing cash in there, hoping at some point it will stop. It doesn't feel good, but that's why they are there is massive potential for profits and for growth. Not everyone can stomach it. I plan to keep dollar cost averaging small amounts in my stock market portfolio and my crypto portfolio, but I would definitely think that the opportunity in crypto is much bigger right now because the market is down much more than stocks. And of course, during the all-time highs, we had a market cap of almost 3 trillion, and now we are at 1 trillion. So we've lost 2 trillion from the market, has evaporated like that. Basically, since the start of the year, so 6 or 7 months, have evaporated 2 trillion of value. Is that ever going to come back? Yes, probably. How long is it going to take? Well, nobody knows, because we don't know how much this recession/inflation fear downtrend will continue to go. So the best you can do is just keep investing. That's it. If you have, like I said, if you have cash right now, you are an absolute god, because this is the best time to be going into market. Does that mean that you will instantly be making money? Probably not, because the markets have a tendency to go down even more. So even if you invest now, you might lose another 20, 30, 40%. But still, long-term wise, if we're looking at markets going above 100,000 Bitcoin, that means you're going to be really good. You're going to be really well off long-term. So yeah, that's just the message of this video. Everything is shit, everything is going to shit, but that should not stop you anyway. So that's it, one foot in front of the other, and we are keeping on. We are going, we are proceeding as planned, and I hope you are too. Of course, if you've enjoyed this video, a like would be much appreciated, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.